Have you ever wondered why so many people chase wealth, yet so few find true fulfillment? It's like running after a horizon. No matter how fast you go, it always seems just out of reach. Deep down, have you asked yourself if the wealth you're pursuing is really for you, or if it's just something you've been told to want? What if, all along, the real treasure wasn't out there, but somewhere within? Think about it. We live in a world where success is measured by what you own, not who you are. But when the noise fades and you're left alone with your thoughts, do you feel free or trapped by the weight of it all? Sometimes what we think is gold turns out to be chains, and the harder we hold on, the more they tighten. Could it be that we've been looking for riches in all the wrong places? The truth is, this isn't about rejecting wealth, it's about understanding it. It's about questioning who's in control, you or the pursuit. And perhaps, by turning inward instead of outward, we can find answers that change everything. But to do that, we must first be willing to look deeper. Are you ready to start that journey? Wealth, much like fire, can either warm or burn, depending on how it is handled. For the wise, it illuminates paths, fuels dreams, and brings comfort to others. But for the fool, it engulfs, consuming their peace and their purpose. Imagine a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Wealth is the tool, not the masterpiece. Yet, how often do we confuse the two, losing sight of what we are shaping? There's a story of a man who inherited a fortune, and with it, endless possibilities. At first, he celebrated, believing he'd found freedom. But over time, the wealth became his obsession. He no longer saw people. He saw price tags. His generosity faded, replaced by a fear of losing what he had gained. Was it wealth that failed him, or his inability to master it? Perhaps the real question is, what do we let wealth turn us into? The truth is, wealth reveals more about us than we might care to admit. It magnifies our intentions, our fears, and our virtues. A wise soul uses it as a mirror, asking, "Am I growing or shrinking with this in my hands?" The fool, however, avoids the reflection, allowing wealth to define them rather than refine them. And in that avoidance, they lose the very essence of what it means to be alive. But could this very loss hold a deeper lesson? What if wealth wasn't a measure of what we own, but a test of who we are? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, holding a golden parachute. You've spent your life accumulating it, stitching every thread with effort and sacrifice. But now, as the wind howls and the ground disappears beneath your feet, you realize this parachute is either going to save you or pull you down. In that moment, what do you trust more, the weight of your riches or the strength of your wings? There's a woman who lost everything she owned in a single day. Her house, her bank account, her status, gone. People pitied her, expecting despair. But she smiled, saying, "I haven't lost myself." That day, she learned what many never do. Wealth can vanish, but your essence, your purpose, your resilience remain untouchable. It was in losing everything that she found her true wealth, herself. Could it be that sometimes what we fear losing the most is what we need to let go of? And so, we're left with a question that cuts to the core. If everything external was stripped away, would you feel empty or finally free? Perhaps wealth, for all its allure, is simply a mirror showing us what we lack inside. And in seeing that reflection, we're given a choice, to keep chasing or to start transforming. But transformation isn't easy, and the path ahead demands more than answers. It demands courage. What if wealth, in its truest form, was never about what we gather, but what we give? Imagine standing in a field after the storm, the ground soaked but fertile, ready to grow something new. That's what happens when we master wealth instead of letting it master us. It becomes a seed, not a weight. And in planting it wisely, we create something far greater than ourselves, a legacy that touches lives and lasts beyond our time. The wise understand that wealth is a gift to be shared, not hoarded. Like water flowing through open hands, it nourishes, cleanses, and connects. Think of the teacher who spends their savings to fund a child's education, or the stranger who gives their last coin to someone in greater need. These are acts of true wealth, where the measure isn't in dollars, but in impact. Isn't that the kind of richness worth pursuing? So now the question turns to you. What will you do with what you have? Will you let it shape you into someone greater, someone kinder, someone freer? The choice is yours, and in making it, you redefine what wealth means, not just for you, but for everyone you touch. True wealth isn't in possession, it's in purpose, and perhaps in mastering it, we finally find what we've been seeking all along, ourselves. So as this journey comes to a pause, ask yourself, what does wealth truly mean to you? Is it the numbers in your account, the possessions you've acquired, or the impact you've made on others? In the stillness of this moment, consider how you can rewrite your story, not as a servant of wealth, but as its master. It's not about abandoning what you have, but transforming how you see it. Take a moment to reflect. What could you do today that aligns your resources with your purpose? Maybe it's helping someone who needs a hand, investing in your growth, or simply letting go of something you've been holding too tightly. Each choice is a step toward freedom, toward becoming the sculptor who shapes wealth, rather than the marble trapped beneath its weight. Isn't it time to reclaim that power? The next chapter of your story begins now. Whether you choose to give, grow, or simply breathe, let your wealth, no matter how small or large, serve something greater than yourself. And as you step forward, remember this: true riches are not counted, they are felt. The question is, how will you use yours to feel alive? Let this question guide you, one choice at a time. Wealth, as Seneca taught us, is neither good nor bad. It is a reflection of who we are and the choices we make. Throughout this journey, we've explored its duality, a servant to the wise and a master to the fool. But now, the story turns to you. What will you make of it? Will you let wealth define your worth, or will you use it to amplify your purpose? The answer lies not in riches, but in wisdom. True wealth isn't found in vaults or measured in currency. It lives in the generosity of your heart, the clarity of your mind, and the impact of your actions. It is the freedom to choose, to give, to grow, and to live aligned with your values. You hold the power to shape wealth into a force for good, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Isn't that the legacy worth leaving? So, as you step into this next moment, let the words of this reflection linger. Be the master of your wealth, not its servant. And remember, the richest life is the one lived with intention, wisdom, and purpose. If this story moved you, inspired you, or gave you something to think about, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and activate notifications. Let's continue this journey together, one story at a time.